All right, guys, welcome back to another video. We have a ton of stuff to go over today, from some information and news from the Nintendo Direct that we got yesterday, which was pretty good, and then a bunch of other things in the other gaming worlds. But before we do get into it, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you like daily gaming news and daily gaming content, and also check out my Spotify. Link is in the description. So we will start off here talking about the Nintendo Direct. Not everything that happened at that show, but just some news and storylines that came out of it. First of all, my thoughts on the Direct was I thought it was a great Direct and lots of exciting things to be looking forward to. Me specifically, I mean, Metroid Prime 4, a game that I've been waiting to see now since they first announced it as a big Metroid Prime fan. And I thought the trailer was cool. The game looks fun, high fidelity and everything. But I was kind of expecting it to be released this year. As I said, everything shown off at the event was going to be for 2024. It's coming out in 2025, and based off of the way the game looks, I'm thinking this is going to be a cross-generational release with the next Nintendo Switch. I don't really see how that game is going to be running on the current Switch, at least at the way that they showed it off. But excited for that. Excited for Mario and Luigi Brothership, as I do love those RPG games. And then obviously Zelda, the new Zelda game where you're actually playing as Zelda in it and you're able to like duplicate items to get through the world. A big Zelda fan. I love those styles of games. Link's Awakening, that remake that they did of it in that art style and that gameplay style, was one of my favorite games when it dropped. So really looking forward to that. And then another game I am excited for is the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection. Now, this is a game that has brought a bunch of controversy over the last day or so because of where this game is releasing. So Capcom has multiple different fighting game collections, and all of them has released on every single platform. They're all on the Xbox platform. I actually own them on the Xbox. So when this game was shown off and it was announced, Marvel vs. Capcom, a really big popular fighting series, you would have thought it was also going to be releasing on Xbox, and that is not the case. And this has brought a lot of controversy with people asking questions as to why this would be. You've seen a lot of outrage out there. I think probably a lot of it is, I mean, there's real outrage from the fighting game fans, people that would actually play this, and there's also the fake outrage for people who couldn't care less, but they just want to take part in the overall narrative as to why potentially this could happen. You have people saying that maybe PlayStation money had it, or the big one I see going around is that Xbox is losing support here from Capcom, which makes no sense. They have day one Capcom games on Game Pass, and pretty much all of their other games are on Xbox as well. And then I saw what I believe is the real reason, the one that makes the most logical sense as to why this game would not be releasing on Xbox Game Pass, and it comes here via Jaw Muncher on X, and they say, starting to believe the MT framework for Xbox One is dead theory. It explains all the skips for that platform. You have the Great Ace Attorney, you have Monster Hunter Stories, you have Monster Hunter 2, Mega Man Battle Network, and then Marvel vs. Capcom Collection, which isn't fully confirmed yet, but likely to be on the MT framework. And if you're wondering what the MT framework is, it's explained here. Someone asked what the MT framework was, and John Muncher replies and says, the engine that runs the game, like how the newer Resident Evil games run on RE Engine, like how a lot of games are made on Unreal Engine. And also says this also lines up with Street Fighter 6 devs saying adding online to the classic titles would be hard in Street Fighter 6, as the RE Engine arcade ports are all offline. 2022 was the last year we saw an MT game on Xbox, and that also explains the lack of the PlayStation 5 ports too. So this game is releasing, but it's only coming to the Nintendo Switch, the PlayStation 4, and Steam. And there's no PlayStation 5 official release, and there's no Xbox One or Xbox Series X and S official release for it. And I think the reason here is because of the engine that the game is being developed in. Xbox does not support that engine anymore. There's no pipeline to get the game with MT framework over to the Xbox One. Essentially, they've killed it off, and I'm guessing it's because they just don't want to put the resources or time to really support more niche development of games for a console that is last generation, that they don't really support anymore, because now Xbox is just Xbox. You pick up a game, you put it in, and it knows exactly where you're playing. There's no real division here between the Xbox One or the Xbox Series X and S. And I think that's a great thing. They did a really good job on that backwards and forwards compatibility stuff when they did launch the Xbox Series X and S. But that isn't the same with the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5. The PS4 is still very much alive. We saw in the last PlayStation financial reports with the amount of people still accessing PSN and still playing within the PlayStation ecosystem via the PS4, which makes you believe that the PlayStation 4 support is probably going to be lasting throughout this entire generation, and maybe even slightly beyond if they have a large percentage of people still playing on the PS4. So the MT framework is still supported on the PS4, which is why the game would be going there and not on to the Xbox One. So that was very disappointing for a lot of Xbox fans, including myself, that it would be missing the platform itself. Now, they didn't give an official release date. They just said in 2024. So maybe Xbox sees all of the discussion about this and potentially puts some of their resources and goes out there and tries to get this game onto the platform. Because basically, I don't think this has anything to do with Capcom saying we don't want to put the game on Xbox. It's probably a lot to do with Xbox One not really supporting that pipeline anymore, with 2022 being the last game, and looking at the amount of resources it would take to get that pipeline in there and get the game onto Xbox versus the amount of sales they'll probably get out of it. They probably just thought, hey, if it's not in the current development kits for us, then we're just going to let it go because it's not worth the investment. You think about this game, I would say minus like the Marvel licenses, which are probably relatively expensive, the actual development of it is probably significantly less than like a major big AAA game that they put out. So there's going to be a good ROI on this game. It probably didn't cost them hundreds of millions of dollars to make, but my assumption is here. So they would want to get this out on as many things as possible. So skipping Xbox really doesn't make any sense. And if you take a look here, they did announce another collection that you would think if it was Capcom trying to just not put games on Xbox, why would they put this one on Xbox? And that is the Ace Attorney Investigations collection, which is coming over to Xbox. It's coming over to all of the platforms when it does release. And this game, compared to the Marvel vs. Capcom collection, we do know that this is actually being developed in the RE engine, as it says here that earlier this year, Capcom producer Kenichi Hashimoto claimed that Ace Attorney series will never end, and Hashimoto was asked if the time spent learning how to reproduce the Ace Attorney gameplay in the RE engine could potentially be used to make another game in the series. And he says, there's nothing I can tell you at the moment, but we've certainly gained knowledge about making adventure games with the RE engine. However, Ace Attorney will never end as a series. So in that sense, I hope you'll look forward to hearing more news. So looks like this game was most likely done in the RE engine, which is one of the reasons why it's probably coming over to Xbox as well. So it's unfortunate. Lots of outrage about that online. But if you are an Xbox fan and you're wondering what games are coming over to the Xbox platform from the Nintendo Direct, here is a list of games that are making its way over. Fantasian Neo Dimension. Now, this is one I'm actually pretty excited for. I didn't really know too much about this game, but this was just a mobile game, and it is from the Lost Odyssey developers, Blue Dragon. Those people made this game, Mistwalker, and I wasn't expecting that from, I guess, a mobile game. I just didn't really know too much about it, but that's coming over to Xbox and the other platforms as well, so maybe checking that one out. You have Mio Memories in Orbit, which is pretty cool. This is kind of like a platformer style of game, and when I first saw it, I thought it looked really, really good. You can just take a quick look here at the gameplay. It looks fast-paced and very interesting art style and cool enemies that you're going to be taking on. So that one looks like it'll be a ton of fun. This is another one that's pretty exciting. Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D collection coming in 2025. That one is coming over. But then also the Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D game is coming over to Xbox November 14th, 2024. You have Metal Slug Attack Reloaded coming on June 18th. And then again, the Ace Attorney Collection, Just Dance 2025. So there are a bunch of games there announced that are coming over to Xbox. And just overall, if you didn't go check out the Nintendo Direct, I would recommend it. It's a pretty strong showing for the very end of a console life cycle, as we're expecting the release of the Nintendo Switch 2 in 2025. Now, we also got an Xbox Game Pass announcement. If you don't care about any of the Nintendo stuff, all you care about is what is coming to Xbox Game Pass. Here is the next announcement for this month, for June. 6 games coming over. You have Steam World Dig, Steam World Dig 2. Those games are pretty fun. FC24, the EA Sports soccer game, is coming over to the service. My Time in Sandrock, which I don't know too much about that one, but it says, just like my time at Porsche, my time at Sandrock takes place in a wholesome post-apocalyptic world 300 years after the Day of Calamity destroyed most modern technologies, and you gather resources to build machines, befriend locals, and defend Sandrock from monsters. So kind of, I guess, a building game, your base, and harvesting, all that type of stuff. And then you have this one here, which is actually pretty cool. I'm excited to check this one out. And that is Robin Hood Sherwood Builders. And this is an action RPG game with base building features in it. And I guess in the Robin Hood universe. This actually one looks really cool. I watched some videos of it after I saw it was announced, and definitely looks like a game right up my alley that I would be interested in checking out. And then there is Keplerth. And again, I don't know too much about Keplerth, but what this game is, and this one's actually only coming to PC, but it is a 2D sandbox RPG trying to survive on a hostile alien planet. So those are the 6 games coming over to the service. Also, yesterday, there was Still Wakes the Deep that did launch, and that got some pretty good reviews. If you are interested in checking that one out, that was in the last Game Pass announcement. But these are the 6 games here. Not a crazy announcement, nothing that stands out too much for me, but for me, out of these 6, I'll probably check out that Robin Hood game and see what that one is all about. Now, when it comes to a major Xbox first-party game that was shown off at the showcase, State of Decay 3, this is one of the most exciting games that they did show off. They showed off some gameplay with it. It looks like it is going to be a nice jump from State of Decay 2. It looks a lot more dark in its theme, and you would think, well, zombie survival is always dark, but there's always kind of that comedy lightheartedness I found in the State of Decay series. This one, that seems like they're straying a little bit away from that, at least from what they showed off, and I'm kind of for that, to see how dark they can make this game. But it looks like this game is going to be launching, or they're aiming for it to launch in 2025. This comes via the Xbox 2 podcast with Jess Corden and Randall Thor. Rand says, I believe you when you say you've heard that State of Decay 3 could be next year. I'm just saying maybe they just hold it because you have all this stuff. It's a good dilemma to have. And Jess says, if you do have the option to delay something, you can polish it up more, add more features, especially in a game like State of Decay, which is going to hinge on how much content it has. Ultimately, I think that is so exciting. So sounds like this is being targeted for 2025, which I absolutely 100% agree with Rand on this one. It's that, like, if you can hold off a game because you have so much stuff coming out, and then you can bolster other parts of the Xbox game release timeline, maybe 2026, I would do it, because there's just so much stuff. You want to make sure that they are hitting games into Game Pass on a consistent basis. And if you drop everything all at once, not everyone is going to be playing all of those games, and they may skip over some, and then you kind of lose some hype for some of these games, which you could use at a different time to get people excited for Game Pass and Xbox and the ecosystem and everything. And if you take a look at 2025, it's already insane with the games that they announced. Doom, The Dark Ages, Fable, and South of Midnight were confirmed for 2025. Right? I mean, those are just already 3 massive games. And then suggesting here that State of Decay 3 could be in there as well. And I'm sure we're going to get even more. I mean, there's still going to be the 2025 Call of Duty. So they already have at least 4 games lined up, which is what they kind of have always promised and wanted to get to, which is one major game every quarter, every 4 months, or at least 4 major first-party games are released. And Xbox is getting there. So it's pretty crazy to think about just the lineups. Even this year, going into next year and beyond, it's going to be non-stop content coming out. Now, if you're a fan of the older games, you're a fan of the Xbox 360, we know that they are closing down the Xbox 360 store in July. So you're going to want to go and check out sales, the store, and games you want to pick up if they've been putting games on sale. And they've added a new list of non-backwards compatible games. So these are ones that you have to actually, I believe, play on your Xbox 360. They've added a new list of games for sale here for you to go check out. It says here that after permanently discounting over 60 non-backwards Xbox 360 games last month, Microsoft has just slashed the price of a load more. Microsoft's second non-backwards compatible Xbox 360 game sale is now live, giving players yet another chance to grab a range of 360 games before they are delisted for good when the Xbox 360 store does close in July. And here's the list. I mean, like I said, 90 of them. I'm not going to go through them all, but there is a ton of good ones, just some that do catch my eye. Like you have the Batman Arkham series in there, Bionic Commando Rearmed in there. You have Black, which is a really cool game. Dead Rising series. If you like NCAA Basketball 09 March Madness Edition, I think they stopped making those basketball games, so that's only available on the Xbox 360. If you kind of want to relive those moments or relive an NCAA basketball game, go buy that on the 360. You got a bunch of Resident Evil games in there and some other cool stuff here to go check out. So go check that list out if you want to get those Xbox 360 backwards compatible games before the 360 store does officially close, which will be a sad day for a lot of people out there, especially people who had some of their best moments on the Xbox via the Xbox 360. All right, yesterday we talked about Lords of the Fallen and it be an Epic Game Store exclusive on PC, which I think is a bad move. I think you'd want to have that game released on PC. Well, they put an official announcement here for the next Lords of the Fallen game. And it says here, dear lamp bearers, we're delighted to announce that the next major installment in the Lords of the Fallen franchise is officially in development and will launch in 2026 on PC, PS5, and the Xbox Series X and S. We look forward to delivering the very best gaming experience possible to you, our loyal fellowship of lamp bearers. In light, we walk Hexworks. So that's the official announcement. The game is actually in development. And then people are asking here about, is there info on stuff like, will it be an Epic exclusive? They respond, and surprisingly, they actually respond to this person on X and says, CI Games retains all IP ownership with Epic Games Publishing responsible for the exclusive distribution of the game on PC. Further details on this and publishing to be shared in the future. So there you have it. I mean, they come out and they say this is an Epic Game Store exclusive game. We'll see how it affects the sales of the game. A lot of people on PC have made it seem like if a game only launches on the Epic Game Store, it is doomed to fail. And I mean, we kind of saw a little bit of that with the Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown game, which is now coming over to Steam in August. But I think that game would have done far better if it did launch everywhere, wasn't exclusive to any store. But is that the real reason that one didn't sell? We don't really know that, but we'll see what happens here with Lords of the Fallen. I know there's a big fan base for it. So if the Epic Game Store thing hurts it, they'll not be making those deals anymore. And then finally, Beyond Good and Evil, the 20th anniversary edition of this game is going to be shown off at the Limited Run Games Showcase. As I put this tweet out saying, looks like Uncle Paige has a message to share with you all. See you at the Limited Runs Games Showcase on June 20th at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for more news on the Beyond Good and Evil 20th anniversary edition. So, I mean, if you've been looking forward to seeing that, you're finally going to be seeing it on June 20th. So Thursday, tomorrow. But with that announcement, the current versions of Beyond Good and Evil, they've delisted on Steam, on Xbox Live ahead of the announcement, and then it's still available on the Ubisoft store. And it was very, very cheap, like last week. If you were thinking about picking it up, it was 89 cents. It still is 89 cents on the Ubisoft store with a code of Ubisoft 20, and it was $3 on Steam. I actually own this on Xbox. I have the 360 version of it, so it's being delisted, and it's going to be leading up, obviously, to that 20th anniversary edition version. We'll see. I mean, I'm pretty excited for that, to see how it looks and everything. And of course, people are still waiting for Beyond Good and Evil 2. But I will end the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.